Oh my God, Anita.
Welcome to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show. How are you doing today? I am okay. I'm just been a little bit still just trying to get myself accustomed to getting ready to get back to normal from my bug. I'm almost like 99% back to normal. So you should be seeing more of me now, ready to do my video thing that I normally do. Every day, every other day, whenever I get a chance to. So, so anyway, just a thought occurred to me. And I consider myself, as far as BreadTube is concerned, or the online left, that I've pretty much been consuming myself for the most part since the latter years of George W. Bush, when I discovered the Young Turks. To this day, I mean, even though I don't necessarily watch the Young Turks as much as I used to, and all the programs that I had been watching over the years, and doing this myself these days, I just thought it occurred to me. There's a couple of people from Canada. They're involved with BreadTube, part of the online left. But I seldom hear them talk about Canadian politics. And I think the Canadian politics is mighty interesting to talk about. And you can see, well, I'm wearing an NDP t-shirt. Speaking of Canadian politics, and y'all don't know what the NDP is. The NDP is the New Democratic Party of Canada, Canada's Labour Party. I have a mouse pad from the New Democratic Party. Probably the only person in North Carolina to actually have one of these. I purchased one of these at the NDP Federal Leadership Convention in 2003. Yes, I flew to Canada to attend an NDP convention. That's how much of a committed social democrat I am. Anyhow, and there is a story about Mouseland, and I may actually do a commentary on Mouseland maybe this week, maybe in the next day or two, if I could just remember it. In fact, I'm going to make myself a promise to talk about Mouseland, and we'll go into detail about it later on. I think that might be a good discussion. Um, as I was talking about the online left in Canada, the ones I'm familiar with is mostly is the Surf Times with Lance. I do not know his last name. The Rational National with David Doyle and Christio Avalis, I believe is how you pronounce his name. Those are the three I'm familiar with. If there are others that I'm not aware of, I don't know who they are. But I don't really hear much out of Canada except for commentary pretty much on American politics. And so, I mean, I just thinking about that. And I would like to hear, it'd be kind of nice if I could hear more on Canadian politics. But suffice to say, as I said, occasionally, I mean, I can't consume it all because I don't literally have the time. But whenever I get the chance, I'll go and watch the a little bit of the Surf Times with Lance, and I've been watching his program periodically from time to time in the last few years, and I don't even know his last name, to tell you the truth. I just know him as Lance. So all I can say is that whenever I do listen to him, it's usually based on American topics for the most part. I again, maybe I need to listen more often. But as I said, that is what I'm noticing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and I'll play a part of the Surf Times, and here's a short video of what I'm talking about.
All the parties involved should explain themselves, and then they should be fired also. Oh, are you promoting cancel culture?
I was just about to say that. How is this not cancel culture 1984? I'd love to hear this. Go ahead.
Absolutely, I want to cancel.
So you have absolutely no principles or scruples. It never was actually about cancel culture. It's just the thing you want when you want it, you see? Because you're a little diaper baby. You're a little diaper baby. And then when you want the thing, you want to have it. And then when the thing doesn't go your way, you're like, oh, that's not the thing I want. So that's cancel culture 1984, George Orwell. I don't like that thing. That one's bad. But anyways, everyone who doesn't agree with me is shitty. And I definitely have principles.
They should be fired for sure. Named, shamed, and fired.
Oh, that's even more aggressive than simply just firing. Named, shamed, and fired. Some hardcore cancel culture.
All the parties involved.
Well, of course, that was one I just actually just noticed just now. Matt Walsh is an asshole, isn't he? But as I said, I'll listen to Lance, and as I said, I for the most part like what he does. I mean, I seldom disagree, but it'd be nice to know a little bit more of what goes on in Canada. Actually, I don't even know which province he lives in. Anyway, let's talk about this guy here. Hold on a second here. Let's see. Let's see here. David Doyle, the Rational National. Now, I will listen to a little bit of David Doyle occasionally as well. My complaint about him is this. I largely agree, again, with most of the content he'll put out there. But he's like a very, very boring Kyle Kalinske. What I mean is, I'm like a Kyle Kalinske fan. I like Kyle Kalinske. He's the go-to as far as most of the politics I listen to from the commentators. But it's like he's trying to do what Kyle Kalinske. It's like he's trying to imitate Kyle Kalinske. and it just he just doesn't quite cut it. I mean, he just doesn't have the humor and the delivery of Kyle Kalinske. In fact, I mean, he's kind of, tell you the truth, he's kind of boring. I mean, his information is correct. I mean, I pretty much agree what David Doyle has to say most of the time, but at the same time, I'm like, just something's not quite there as far as I'm concerned. But I'll give you an example, a little bit of the Irrational National, and most of y'all know who these people are anyway. But I'm just just something that's just been called to my attention lately. So here we go.
Who initiates the culture war matters.
Conservative propagandist Ben Shapiro has come out with his dumbest claim yet. Let's check it out.
So you got Amber Phillips, staff writer over at the Washington Post. How Florida Governor Ron DeSantis wages his culture wars. Perhaps no politician has been as effective at waging today's culture wars as Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. He didn't initiate the culture war. You guys did. Who initiates the culture war matters. If you punch me and then I punch you back, I didn't initiate the fight. You initiated the fight. And if I finish the fight, good for me. But again, the left has to portray the Republicans as the aggressors here. There's not a single social issue in America where Republicans are the aggressor over the course of the last 30 years. Not one. This country has been moving progressively to the left on social issues for decades on end. You cannot name a social issue on which the American governmental structure has moved to the right. It does not exist. It doesn't. I challenge anybody on the left to bring me one issue where the governmental structure of the United States, the legislative structure of the United States, has moved to the right over the course of the last 30 years. The only case you can make is in some states on abortion, and that's only because there was an artificial quash on abortion law put in place in 1973 by the Supreme Court in Roe. Every other issue, literally all of them, we have moved to the left, every single one. But the idea is that if Ron DeSantis says no, this means that he is the aggressor now. Or maybe you guys are the aggressor.
Social progress does not equate to aggression. No one is forcing you to get gay married. No one is forcing you to be trans. But Republicans, as the aggressor, have tried to stop allowing people who want to get married to the same sex. They have tried to stop them. They are trying to stop trans people from even existing, accessing healthcare at all. That is aggressive. Allowing people to be who they are, acknowledging the human rights of others, is not aggression. This is one of the stupidest things, one of the dumbest arguments Shapiro has ever tried to make, because he is completely wrong. And when it comes to actual legislation, Jason Campbell points out here, these are recent headlines, just recent ones. Alabama lawmakers advance transgender students' bathroom ban, an aggressive move. Trump will ban transgender people from U.S. military, another aggressive policy move. More Republican leaders try to ban books on race, LGBTQ issues, another aggressive move, anti-speech, anti-free speech move. Another one. Oklahoma lawmakers passed six-week abortion ban modeled after Texas law that allows civil enforcement. So again, yeah, it's obvious who the aggressors are. Recognizing that trans people exist, that they should be able to access the healthcare that they need, is not an aggressive move. Allowing people who want to marry the same sex, allowing them to do that, is not an aggressive move. Aggressive is trying to stop people from being who they are.
Okay, as I said, just a small segment from Rational National. There's really pretty much nothing to disagree with. There's nothing to disagree with there. I mean, pretty much on point, everything he has to say. But it'd be kind of nice to know about what's going on the Canadian right. I know Canada's the political Overton window in Canada is further left than it is in the United States. I understand that. But I'm sure that there's pockets of conservatism and reactionary movements in Canada that's doing whatever they're doing in a municipal level or in a certain riding. A riding is like a congressional district, or in whatever province. Some provinces are more conservative than others. So I mean, I'm just kind of be kind of nice to know what's going on in Canada's backyard between the left and the right within the Canadian political discourse. But again, I can listen to David Doyle and agree, but he's I just want to yawn when I listen to him. I mean, doesn't really he does not particularly interesting to listen to. And I'm not trying to be shitty, or anything like that. I mean, obviously he's doing something right. He's got 400,000 subscribers, so he's obviously doing something correctly. So, and whatever he's doing works for him. But it's just an observation I've noticed. So, Krista Avalis, I believe is his name. He's another one from Canada that I will listen to occasionally. He's a little bit high strung at times, and as nerdy as I am in some ways, but probably smarter. So there is that. And again, I listened to Christo Avalis, and I would pretty much again agree with most of his content, but it's usually in the United States. It's United States focus, as not as Canadian focus. I have noticed, and it'd be kind of nice to hear what goes on in the backyard from in Canada. But again, I'll give you a little bit of an example of Christo Avalis, and I apologize for butchering up the name, but here we go. All right, hold on a second here. Okay.
So Marjorie Taylor Greene just had an awful legal day, really over the last couple, because a series of rulings have impacted her as well as many of her fellow GOP cronies, especially in their legal hypocrisy, because these are the exact sorts of people that want to be seen as tough, that want to be seen as law-abiding, as supporting the rules, and yet when it comes to them, they don't feel they should have to stand by those rules as it inconveniences them. And so there are two cases that have dropped that affect Greene and some of her cronies around masks in Congress as well as metal detectors. Now, we know the mask rule is no longer in focus, but Greene and a lot of people tried to sue over some of these things because they felt they shouldn't have to actually follow the rules to keep themselves and everyone in Congress safe. But judges, including Trump-appointed judges, have smacked them down. In addition, and we'll get to this in a little bit, Marjorie Taylor Greene felt that she was done with her effort to try and stay on the ballot, but a brand new appeal has just been launched against her. It says here, all three members appealed their fines to the House Ethics Committee, which ruled against them. Clyde and Gomert sued in June 2021, and Smucker joined them next month. This one doesn't directly include Greene, but it's part of her cronies. It says Kelly, a judge appointed by President Donald Trump, ruled that the Constitution's speed or debate clause protected the House from lawsuits. The screening requirement and the fines imposed for breaking them were legislative acts and therefore outside the court's authority to rule on, Kelly said. The screening, the security, fining, and salary deductions challenged here have a direct nexus and are part of the overall scheme regulating members' behavior in the lawmaking atmosphere on the House floor. Thus, these acts qualify as legislative acts. And this connects to the Marjorie Taylor Greene trial. These really are symbiotic because some of the same people are involved and the same arguments were being made. When Marjorie and some other people were told that they had to wear masks and they chose not to, they were fined, and they tried to say that they were effectively above the rules and above the law. And again, they got smacked across the face by a judge saying, while Massey and Norman's protests were limited, Green continued to show up on the House floor without a mask for the rest of 2021 and into 2022, accumulating more than $100,000 in fines docked from her salary, which is $174,000 a year. Georgia Representative Andrew Clyde eventually joined the protest and spent months refusing to wear a mask on the floor. While he did not join the lawsuit over those fines, he has a separate suit pending, and this is what we were talking about, for the penalties he faced refusing to go through metal detectors before casting votes. And so, guys, this is all connected here. People like Marjorie just got a real wake-up call that they are not above the rules. There's this famous saying, it's not an old one, I think it's relatively recent, but it's super poignant, where it's like the worldview of conservatives is they feel there are two groups of people. There's themselves and others. And for themselves, the law is there to protect them, but to not bind them, to not restrict them. But for liberals or people of color or the poor or their enemies or LGBTQ people, anyone they see as not worthy of being as part of the Republican conservative in-group, the law is there to oppress them, but not protect them. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, when she says law and order, what she means is laws to stop other people from doing things, but nothing to stop me from doing whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want. That's justice in her mindset, and she just lost on that front. And it's, guys, this is connected to the fact that Marjorie, apparently, she thought she was done. There was an appeal launched to try to keep her off the ballot again, and that appeal failed. But, guys, they're not done yet. Marjorie is still being dragged in, guys. They are going to make another appeal on Marjorie's case, bringing it all the way to the Supreme Court in Georgia, saying very clearly that Marjorie Taylor Greene, before, during, and after swearing in, was clearly playing a role in trying to interfere with a duly elected president and trying to stop him from assuming office and being an insurrectionist. And the evidence we've seen in part since the J6 hearings has only made that clearer. Marjorie Taylor Greene just took a humiliating defeat. She's lost over half her salary, plus legal fees. And now she's learning with a slap to the face. She's not above the law.
Okay, I'm back. Anyway, that's pretty much what I wanted to show. The reason, as I said, those three are the basically the major online leftists from Canada that I'm familiar with. And if there's anybody out there that I have not mentioned, it's because I'm not aware of them. And I apologize for those I have not mentioned. But I would like to see more focus on Canadian politics, because I am truly interested. I'm more interested in a lot of ways with British politics than I am American politics, and I do know that that there are channels I can watch in the UK, to find out about what's going on in the UK and things like that. And now I think about it, yeah, it's like, what about other languages? Are there online leftists on other languages, and what programs do they have, and things of that nature? But that was pretty much what I wanted to discuss. It's just something that just kind of went through my mind last night, and I'm just like, I think I might want to talk about this and share this with you all today. And I think that we should do a story, a commentary on Mouseland. And so if I don't do this tomorrow, I'm going to do this day after tomorrow. That is what I'm planning to do. So we'll make that as a commitment. Damn it, we'll make it as a commitment, because Mouseland is a pretty interesting story. And the man that came up with the story, Mouseland, wonderful person. Two famous actors are related to the person that two actors you've seen on American films related to the man that did the story of Mouseland. So we're going to have a discussion about that tomorrow. I think that's what we should do. What else am I going to say? Yeah. So if you like what you heard, press like and comment. Comment any way if you disagree. We'll have a conversation. Feel free to share the content on this channel. Uh, as a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it because we are, in fact, the muckrakers of our time. Hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. And remember to always, always reject corporate media because they have absolutely nothing at all to offer to us. And if you must watch mainstream news, watch it with a critical eye. That's what I can tell you. Until next time, I'll conclude by saying to y'all, music. Y'all take care.